Are you good? I take it they've asked you most of the questions.
Pardon?
They've asked you most of the questions that I wanted to ask, but I'll ask you few. What's in this bag? How much is in this bag?
Sorry?
How much is in this bag?
How much what?
How much money is in this bag?
I have no idea.
Then how do you know that General Mkwanaze had money in his account, in his Louis Vuitton bag? Did you see the money?
I never said there was money in a Louis Vuitton bag.
Oh, you didn't.
No?
Did you see him being given a Louis Vuitton bag as a gift?
No, I didn't see that.
So how come you're saying that he was given a gift of a Louis Vuitton bag which he gave to his wife?
If you wait, I'll show you
Were you there?
No,
You were not there.
it was all
Was
over
that the
the.
person who told you?
It was all over. It was in the media.
Oh. Oh, it was in the media that President Ramaphosa he bought money and hid it under the sofa. So was that true because it was in the media as well? Does it mean he stole the money?
I'm not saying it's true here. I'm saying these are the allegations.
Do you believe them?
I do.
Do you believe that Ramaphosa stole money?
I don't know. I haven't looked at that.
Did you look at the other one, the Louis Vuitton?
I did.
What did you look at?
What do you mean? What did I look at?
What did you look? You said you looked into it.
I
What
made
did you
some
look into?
inquiries, and I
You made
discovered.
some.
Yes,
And you never made none on the parliament.
I wasn't involved in that. I wasn't invited to be involved in it.
Were you invited to investigate Pahlani?
No,
So what do you mean when you say you're not invited on the Phala issue?
well, nobody phoned me and said, by the way, there was a break-in and money was stolen. Will you assist us with the investigation?
Who said you must investigate Pahlani then? Who invited you?
I didn't get invited. Somebody approached us with information.
How so? Is that the letter, the brown envelope under the door?
Who?
Is that the issue? Is this the story where you say you got an envelope under the door?
No.
How do you get it?
We received a tip-off from an informer.
From an informer.
Yeah, and the informer, well, he's now retired, was a colonel in the police.
Oh, okay. Before we go any further, you said MK members, including Honorable James, were guilty of having information that is coming from intelligence. And you said that's a criminal offense, punishable with 10 years.
What's the paragraph?
The WhatsApp from the WhatsApps.
Yeah, but what's the paragraph number?
No, I'm asking what you said. You said MKP members.
Yeah, but if you can direct me to the paragraph number, I'd appreciate that because
No, you said it here. I was listening to you.
I was reading what was
No,
in
you
my
said it.
statement.
You said it. Remember when you said all MKP members, and including Honorable James, have information that is coming from intelligence and it's punishable with 10
I read
years.
what was in my statement.
Okay.
So if you can direct me back to the paragraph number, otherwise we're going to have to stop while I go looking for that paragraph number.
Okay, while they look for it, let me remind you, you said that we are guilty of that. So I want to ask you, you just said to Honorable Nomvalo, where is this? You got information from reliable reliable, what did you say? Sources, yes. Within the intelligence. Were you telling the truth or were you lying?
I was telling the truth.
So isn't that the same thing you are accusing us of?
What accusation?
Getting information that was not supposed to be in our hands. The WhatsApp information. You can't pretend that you forgot. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, let me find the paragraph.
You know what? Tell me that.
I don't think I said.
The chair.
I don't think I said that you were in possession of that
You said
information.
FK. You said okay, Honorable James. Then.
Yes.
Yeah,
Are we referring to
well,
Honorable James or are we referring to MKP?
What's the difference? You know, I'm finding similarities between you and Brown Mokotsi. You can be the white Brown Mokotsi.
Pardon?
It's fine. Leave it there. Chair said I must not say you're a liar. Chair, please reconstruct this sentence for me. Are you a liar or a slow learner? Because you say you were in an accident, and in this accident, You forget things. You forgot your Afrikaans. You forgot your entire fluent Afrikaans.
Okay,
But you
let me explain to you something,
Yes.
because you make these allegations and then you.
No,
you
I'm
can't-
repeating what you said. I'm not making any allegation.
Hmm.
Can you fix that? You say what I said.
Okay,
Wena ngufuna eveni nika wena. Mr. Sullivan,
yes,
there's a white bucky outside here.
pardon?
There's a white bucky, a very white bucky here.
A what?
White bucky. Do you know what's a bucky? A van.
Yes.
It's a van. I think you should be going in that van. You're changing your statements now. Let's go again. How's your relationship with Mr. McBride?
I don't have a relationship with him.
Is he a credible police officer?
Pardon?
Is he a credible officer? Do you find him credible?
A credible what?
Do you find him credible?
In some respects, yes.
Okay. So how come when Mr. McBride is traveling with Mandla Mahlangu, the one you spoke about, who owns a 7 million farm and a house in Savannah, you never investigated that person, including McBride,
Which person?
Mandla Mahlangu?
I wasn't involved in anything that required me to investigate them.
Were you involved in investigating Patlan?
Pardon?
Were you involved in investigating Mr. Patlan?
For 10 months, yes,
You were. And
Yeah.
how did you get into that?
because IPID refused to investigate.
Okay, this one, Mandla Mahlangu travels with Mr. McBride every day, and he owns a 7 million farm and a house in Savannah. Why didn't you bother to investigate that?
I didn't know that.
You didn't know.
If somebody had come to me and said to me, by the way, this person has a 7 million rand property,
Mm,
it needs to be investigated,
mm.
or I receive a tip-off, I could have possibly looked at it, but what I can't do is suck things out of my thumb and then go and look at those.
I'm asking you because you say you love South Africa. That's why you decided to investigate and help with the security in South Africa. So your love, is it limited to a certain, or is it pointing to certain people? Or can everybody benefit from your love of life in South Africa?
Yeah, I think they do, yeah.
Okay, when Spear was appointed in Gauteng without having a competency, why didn't you investigate that one?
What was he appointed? I don't understand.
General Sibia, the credible officer, the one you said he has, is the best one of the best. General Sibia.
Did I say he was one of the best?
Yeah, you did in one of your interviews.
Mhm.
How do you regard him?
I'd say he's a competent police
Competent.
official, yeah.
You know he doesn't have competency.
When you say
He
competent,
failed competency.
like security
Competency,
clearance, you mean?
yes.
I have no knowledge of that.
So you have no knowledge of that. So you just took him under your wing and trusted him and,
I didn't take him under my wing.
okay, so why didn't you investigate him?
What should have I investigated him for?
For having no competency, for buying a grab, for upscaling his salary from 1.2 to 1.8, for taking a position that he has not applied for, and paying himself overtime.
I have no knowledge of that.
You had no knowledge.
No.
Okay. So when Ramaphosa hides money under Mr. Ramaphosa, when he hides money under the sofa, and you heard about it, what did you do? Did you investigate or just left it like that?
I only found out about it 2 years
Did
later.
you investigate or you left it like that?
I investigated the allegations that were put out by Arthur Fraser, and I opened the criminal
Did
docket.
you investigate Mr. Ramaphosa for putting money under the sofa before you investigated Mr. Fraser, who is a whistleblower in this case? Why investigate a whistleblower where there is crime?
Because he
that is
wasn't a
alleged?
whistleblower,
What was he?
a criminal, in
A
my
criminal.
opinion.
In your opinion, Mr. Ramaphosa hiding money under the mattress or the sofa, was that not criminal?
I don't know about that. I knew nothing about it.
Again, I'm going to ask
And I can't retrospectively
you,
go back and investigate something that happened several years ago where there's no trail of evidence.
do you know Forte University? Do you know about it, Forte?
I know where it is.
There's a gentleman by the name Oscar Mabuyane, who's a choice to Mr. Ramaphosa. When he was alleged that his education or qualifications in Fort Hare was fraudulent or somehow having issues, why didn't you investigate?
Excuse me.
I'm still on
Chair.
the love of South Africa. I'm still on the love of South Africa. You said you
Sorry?
love South Africa.
Huh?
And South Africa can't be Patani.
You asked me a question and then
You can answer.
don't allow me to finish
I
answering.
apologize. You can answer.
Right. Forensics for Justice is a non-profit company. It doesn't receive any income other than small donations. You can go on the website. On the website are published every year the audited accounts. And you can go there now on your computer and look at it and see it. And you'll see the amount of resources that we have available to carry out investigations. Now, if we were to investigate every allegation against every public official in South Africa, we would need probably 2 or 3 billion rand a year and lots of investigators. We just don't have that. So to sit there and ask me why you didn't investigate that, why you didn't investigate that, why you didn't investigate that, it's just impossible. We have to select the cases where people approach us and say, we've got this information.
Can
Nobody
I have,
came
I have
to us
3
with-
minutes, Mr. Sullivan. Sorry for that. I
But I'm
apologize.
just saying, nobody came to us and told us, this Professor, what did you say, Mabula?
Oscar Mabuyane, he's a premier in Eastern Cape.
Okay, nobody came to us and said,
Are you
this-
gonna investigate since I'm telling you now?
nobody came to us.
I'm coming to you now. Are you gonna investigate?
Well, if you go on our hotline, you can file.
It's gonna take
And
too
then it
long.
will be
Luckily
about-
here, can you, for the love of South Africa that you have, can you investigate that?
We don't take all.
Okay, let me ask this one. I'm a South African and I need to learn something from you since you love us. How do I convince a judge or how do I get a judge to give me a court hearing at 12 a.m. and give me a conviction that I can't be arrested within, unless I'm given a note that says within 48 hours I have to be notified? How do I convince a judge to do that for me at 12 a.m.?
What's 12 a.m.? Can you define that?
Time. At midnight.
That didn't happen.
How? You got a document that says you can't be arrested and you must be notified within 48 hours. And you got that at night, at midnight.
Okay,
Is
so
that
if
not
you-
true?
If you have a look, Chairman, this relates to section P.
Is it true or not true?
No,
Did it happen?
It's not true.
It never happened. You don't have such a document.
I have such,
What
but it
time was
wasn't
that court
obtained at midnight.
What time was that court convened? At what time did you get
It
that?
was a normal court day.
During the day.
Yes.
If I have it on record that you are lying, can you hand yourself straight to the police station?
Because you are making a mistake. Let me explain
mistake?
to you, Chairman, and I'm going to finish now because you're now accusing me of lying. So I've made it clear that every time somebody defames me, I'm going to respond. The reality of the situation is, in 2016, after repeated arrests and abuse of my constitutional rights, I launched an application in the High Court.
What time was it?
Well, normal course of business. It was an urgent application.
This midnight court is the story.
No.
It's not a
What?
story. Is it a story or not?
You know what? Let me try and finish because what you're trying to
The
do,
thing is eating on my
what you're
time. Why-
trying,
okay,
no,
why will you
you're
answer
trying
that?
you're trying to make false and defamatory statements.
Simple. Did it happen?
The reality,
Was there a midnight
there
court?
was a midnight.
There was. Thank you. That's what I want.
No, you're
Do
not
you know
going to get
standards?
away with that. The reason for the midnight court was because I had been unlawfully arrested.
So there was a
drag-
midnight court. The question that I asked.
I had been
How do I
unlawfully
convince a-
arrested.
Okay, Mlungwami.
An
Kahle,
urgent
kahle, Mlungu. Kahle,
application
Mlungu.
was
Kahle, kahle,
brought.
kahle, nsizwa ke,
An
kahle,
urgent application was
kahle.
brought
Wait.
in the
Kahle.
urgent court in Pretoria
Can I ask
after I had been unlawfully arrested
Wait, lo baba.
by dirty
kahle,
cops
baba.
reporting to Paslani. And they dragged me away.
I understand your anger with Pastor. The
I'm
question
not
is not
angry
that.
with you. I'm
This is the
stating the
question.
truth. And what I'm not
How
going to
do you
allow
get a
is
judge?
for you.
How do I convince a judge to give me a court hearing at midnight, 12 midnight? I just want to learn, how do I do that? Do I need money, bribe, or what?
You
What
need
do I
to speak
need?
to,
How do I?
you need to
Honorable
speak, you need to
William
speak
Bach.
to my lawyers because
Honorable
the court
Brayton Bach.
application was launched by
Mr.
my lawyer.
Paul Robert O'Sullivan, your time has expired with
Thank you,
Honorable
Chairman.
Shong. May you turn to Honorable Brayton Bach. She's sitting there. Your time has started, Honorable Brayton Bach.
Chairperson, good afternoon, Mr. O'Sullivan.
Good afternoon.
Apart from the time that you were arrested, I think it was in April 2016, and taken off an aircraft, how many other times have you been arrested? And what was the outcome of those matters?
Thank you, Chairman. So if we go, in fact, it follows on from your colleague. I'm sorry, I can't remember the member's name.
Respond to the
Yes,
question.
if we follow on from that incident he's talking about.
The name is Shongwe.
Thank you.
Please remember
Thank
it.
you.
Mnigas Wefen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If we follow on from that incident, I was arrested at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, on the 12th of February, 2017. And I was taken away to Kameeldrift Police Station, which is the police station just down the road from Sable Hills Estate.
Mr. O'Sullivan, forgive me, I just want to interrupt you for 1 second. And I don't want to prevent you answering the question, because I want the answer. I don't really need all the details of the arrests. I need to know how many there were and what was the outcome of them. Were they prosecuted, were they not prosecuted? Really, that's all I need.
So
to
there
know.
was that arrest. One of my staff was arrested. In all, there were 6 trials, and 3 or 4 of the trials I was acquitted, and the others, the state withdrew them or they were struck off the roll.
Okay, thank you. So they went nowhere.
Went nowhere. Not because of any reason than the fact that they were all unlawful cases. And the DPC, I made a formal complaint to the DPCI judge,
Yes.
and they issued a report. And in the DPCI judge's report, they made it crystal clear that in fact, my constitutional rights were violated.
Yes, I have seen that report. Thank you. In paragraph 75 of your affidavit, I think it's on page 25 of the page numbers, you deal with the hugely inflated slush fund or the COVID fund of crime intelligence.
Mhm.
And you mention that while it has, the fund has increased exponentially over the years, there's been no discernible drop in crime.
Mhm.
Would you, however, agree that this is largely due to the fact that there's in fact very little activity or legitimate activity from crime intelligence? And that the reason we find ourselves in the position we find ourselves in is largely due to the fact that the National Prosecuting Authority and police departments get no input from crime intelligence because they're not doing their job.
In fact, that's the point I've made in my affidavit, is that crime intelligence have become neutralized. And the proof of that is the riots that took place in KZN, which took the lives of 305 people and cost 100 billion rand in damage economy. And the then head of crime intelligence in KZN was Major General Kamalo, who's now Lieutenant General. No crime intelligence was received about the riots. A year later, he's promoted to Lieutenant General and placed in charge of the Division of Crime Intelligence. And the money just keeps getting stolen.
Yeah. Well, that's more or less par for the course for crime intelligence, as we're all aware. In 3 very concise points, please, can you tell me what, in your view, are the main causes of the problems we currently experience in the criminal justice system? Concise, please.
I'll try and be as concise as possible. The problems are deep-rooted corruption. The infighting within the criminal justice system, at the root of that is the crime intelligence slush fund. And the failure or refusal of successive crime intelligence heads and successive crime intelligence finance officers to be held accountable for the use of the crime intelligence funds has resulted in the reality that crime intelligence has become neutralized and it's no longer serving its purpose.
Okay, I'd like to go to the document that Honorable James handed to you. Do you have it? It is a photostat copy of what purports to be a deposit slip for Nedbank
Yes,
and another smaller document. I'm
I
not sure
don't
what it
have
is.
the other document. I only got this.
Oh, no, this is all I need. It's all I'm going to refer to. So you're a certified fraud examiner,
Correct.
and I take it then that I may assume that you're somewhat of an expert on documents.
Can be sometimes.
Okay,
Depends on the nature of the document.
well, let's have a look at this one.
This is a photocopy.
Yes, well, of course, that's the first thing. It's a photocopy of a photocopy. It's not even a photocopy.
Mm.
So its provenance is in doubt and its veracity, the weight of evidence that it carries is not great in the normal course of events.
Well, yes, you're quite right. But
So would you have a look at that document there? It says a total of cash, postal and money orders.
pardon me?
It says there a total of cash, postal and money orders, and then it says 100,000 Rand, right just under the date.
Oh, yes, yes,
You see it?
yes,
Then there's a Nedbank stamp on it.
yes.
And then in the total block, it says R1 million.
Yeah, I think that's not correct.
Well, it can't be. It must either be 100,000 or R1 million. It can't be both.
Yeah, exactly. It's a problem.
Mm. And you see that depositor's name and or reference is AN other.
Correct.
Oh, so a bit of a joke.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know where the document comes from, and I assume it emanates from the DSO files somewhere because this date refers to DSO operations. But there's the deposit slip in itself is, in my view, deeply problematic. From my experience as a prosecutor, I would have had an issue with this document.
Yeah, I've never seen the deposit slip until today.
So I'm not sure of its evidentiary value. You were involved in a matter regarding a number of articles published by Amabungani. You will recall that it was alleged that Amabungani was in possession of documents that had been allegedly stolen by one van Niekerk.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that now.
And you testified on behalf of, I think, the Moti organization.
They're clients of ours.
Yes, that the documents had in fact been stolen.
In fact, the person that stole the documents is now on trial
Yes.
for stealing those documents, and a court order was granted that the documents must be returned, and the accused is currently in contempt of that court order.
Well, no, that court order was overturned at some point by Judge van Nieuwenhuizen and said they must be kept in the offshore location where they were kept and not altered or damaged in any way. That was the result of that.
And I'm
Judge
sure-
Holland Muter issued the order to say return them, and then it was overturned.
No, the order that they must be returned was taken on appeal, and the appeal was withdrawn, and that order is now valid.
I see. And you say that Mr. van Niekerk is on trial.
Correct.
And what is the position with that trial, do you know?
I think discovery took place in December, and to my knowledge, the trial should be starting either in March or April.
But in that affidavit, which is the point I want to get to, is you in your affidavit discussed the issues of the metadata and how that would demonstrate that the documents were in fact stolen.
Correct.
Now, are you yourself an expert on analyzing documents to the extent that you can sensibly discuss the issues of metadata?
We have the software that enables us to download.
No. Are you sufficiently an expert to do that?
I consider I've done it for more than 15 or 20 years, so I have the experience. There is no specific qualification that says this is the qualification you need.
No, of course not, Mr. O'Sullivan, but I have been a prosecutor in one or two trials. And in order to demonstrate expertise, you need to demonstrate a long period of proficiency and qualifications and expertise, and to discuss issues of metadata. In my view, you need to be, sorry, Andile, could you just sit back, please? To discuss issues of metadata and what it means confidently in an affidavit, you would have to be an expert. I'm asking you if you are an expert
No, but I referred to a metadata report that had been done by.
by someone else.
Yes.
Yes, but you'll agree with me that if you're not an expert, you can't do that.
No, we just referred to that metadata
Yes.
report.
So that's a little dodgy to then include in your affidavit a view based on someone else's view. That's not really acceptable.
Well, it might be considered that.
It was certainly found that way by Judge Van Nieuwenhuizen, you will recall.
I don't know about this, Judge van Nieuwenhuizen.
You mentioned Mr. Mdluli from Crime Intelligence and his employment of his family members
Correct.
while he was in charge of. Now, Mr. Mdluli's travails are many, and in my view, transgressions also many, but that's not what we're here to discuss today. But as far as you're aware, are his family members who were employed, qualified or otherwise, still employed at Crime Intelligence?
My understanding is that some of them were dismissed, but some of them are still there.
And despite all of the time that has passed, no one has managed to get rid of them.
That's my understanding.
Okay. Thank you, Chair, I'm done.
Thank you so much, Honorable Reitenbach. You have requested that you may want to be released at some stage.
I'll be back. I just want to go
If
through
you
my...
feel the pressures of time, you must know that I have granted you permission to leave and come back. Honorable Thorpe, your time starts now.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Are you-
Mr. O'Sullivan?
Are
Sorry,
you,
Chair?
are you participating as a full member or as a,
No, as an alternative.
okay.
Chairperson, paragraph 164. Mr. O'Sullivan, you make quite that bold allegation that there's many members of parliament who are involved with corrupt crime intelligence officials. Were you saying earlier that you can't or you don't want to say who you're speaking of?
Yeah, I explained that the informant is a confidential informant. So this is an allegation. It's not an allegation that I can present with any evidence. I can just state that I've received the allegation.
Right, so you're saying there's no evidence at your disposal currently?
Only information. I said I've been reliably informed, which means it's hearsay evidence.
Thank you. In paragraph 152, you speak of General Polane's interference with witnesses by interviewing them yourself or that he was interviewing them himself or he had other people interview them. Is this correct?
That's correct. The documents in question were submitted at the High Court.
Thank you. In paragraph 147.17, you then stated there that the salesman, I believe it's the salesman of the expensive sound system, was identified and interviewed by yourself. Is that correct?
Sorry, what's the paragraph number?
147.17.
Yes, he'd be interviewed, but he wouldn't give me a sworn statement.
But you interviewed him yourself.
Yes, because when it became apparent,
And then am I correct in to say that you were the complainant in that case?
but IPID had refused to carry out the investigation. So we continued with the investigation ourselves.
Am I correct in then saying, well, let me ask it rather this way, is it normal practice for a civilian or a complainant to interview individuals? And IPID was involved prior to that,
IPID wasn't involved.
right? Is it normal practice for a civilian or complainant to interview a witness?
We interview witnesses all the time.
So it's normal standard procedure.
Pardon?
So it's standard procedure for the complainant to interrogate the witness.
So
Or
in this matter, Forensics for Justice were the complainant through me. And the purpose of the interview was to get information that could be given to IPID. And all the information we got was supplied to IPID.
Thank you. In paragraph 14713, so it's in the similar section, you sat with the interview with General Patlale's driver.
Correct.
Is that also normal?
I was requested to sit in on that interview.
Surely IPID was capable of interviewing the driver and tracing the driver. And I wonder, Mr. O'Sullivan, was it the request of yourself to sit in that or that of Mr. Mhlongo?
It was Mr. Mashlangu who asked me to.
What did he mean when you guys spoke about, in your statement, you mentioned that he wanted to get buy-in with white people?
Mr. Mashlangu felt uncomfortable with, he thought that because the person was white, I think a white Afrikaans guy, he felt that the driver may not cooperate with him in respect of detailing the payments that were made out of the boot of the car.
So it was just a front, the color was just a front.
Well, he felt that if a white person was in the interview, he might be more cooperative.
Thank you. In paragraph 18, you spoke about leading from the front. This is paragraph 18. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, paragraph 18.
Let me just find it.
You spoke about leading in the front, from the front, drug trafficking, human trafficking, etc.
Correct.
You also stated that you were requested to donate 8 hours of your time
Correct.
and that you were doing about 40 hours per week.
Mhm.
And I do understand that you had the financial means to do so. The question though is again, is it normal for a reservist to lead such a mammoth task? And is it normal for a reservist to lead such a mammoth task when there are people in the SAPS chains that must have been proficient at the time?
In
You
fact,
can understand why I ask.
yes, in fact, there were quite a number of reservists who worked substantial numbers of hours, and we were quite successful in the projects that we managed.
Now, I understand. My question is it normal for a reservist to take then such a stance to lead from the front when there are people within the SAPS permanently employed that I'm very sure could have done the same task?
It's not normal, but it happens.
Right. Mr. Sullivan, through you, Chair, who did Mr. Celebi appoint that you said belonged in jail? If you can just give some names there, it's in paragraph 35.
Well, the one person was in jail, that was Richard Ndluli.
Is there anybody currently employed?
Did you say paragraph 35?
I think so, yes, paragraph 35.
No, I can't see it then, paragraph 35.
I could have a wrong paragraph number by accident, but it is where you speak of, I can't see when you get this one open now. Where you spoke of Celebi appointing people that belong in jail. I mean,
If you can direct me to the paragraph. So that I
I'll
can
come
see
back
it.
to that one, just for time constraints. I think paragraph 37, it seems that you're saying that the once former President Zuma became the president of the ANC. I think it was in the December 2007. It is the ANC under his leadership that called for the closure of the Scorpions as they were effective against corruption. Is my understanding correct?
I'm not sure I understand what your understanding is.
It was under President Zuma's leadership of the ANC that the Scorpions were closed.
Yes, I believe.
And
that.
they were effective at the time because they were going for politicians and high level.
What paragraph are we talking about?
37?
This is after Polokwane.
Yes, it's at the end of the paragraph.
The conference called for the ANC policy to disband the Scorpions. I think that's common cause. And the disbanding of, my understanding is that the disbanding of the Scorpions was intended to curtail high-profile corruption investigations. And if you look at the Glenister judgment, it's quite clear that that application was intended to either save the Scorpions or to have something that stood independent from the police. And that's what led to the changes in Section 17 of the Police Service Act and the creation of the DPCI.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. It might be common cause for some of us, but many people don't know all these. This is why I'm asking these questions. Is it correct that within 2 years, the Scorpions were totally disbanded? That's from 2007. And this was the mark of the start of the significant corruption we see today. Is that correct?
What paragraph are we on now?
It's straight after that paragraph. You just said within 2 years, the Scorpions were totally disbanded.
Yeah, I think it was 2.5 years.
Would I be correct to assume, because as you allude to the witnesses, Mr. Salebi and Mr. Mbeki, who tried to help him, former President Zuma was a catalyst to what we see today as one of the major reasons that we're sitting here.
Is this in the same paragraph?
Yes, that whole paragraph speaks about that. Paragraph 37, line 4.
Yes. What is the question?
I said, would I be correct to assume that when you allude to this section, you speak about the relationship between Mr. Salebi, Mr. Mbeki, who had tried to help him, and former President Zuma? Was it a catalyst to what we see today as the major reasons that we are sitting here?
I think it could be part of it, but I can't say it's all of it. I think one have to look at the defective aspects of crime intelligence and the abuse of the slush fund.
Yeah, I'm just saying, was it a catalyst?
I think it could have been.
Thank you. In paragraph 147, Mr. Sullivan, you stated that you were tortured for 3 days. Who tortured you? Where did this take place? And do you have any evidence, photos of anything of this
So
torture marks?
if you take a look at the act that deals with torture, it's all set out in the complaint I made at the time. So, thanks. If you look at the definition of torture, and I'm just going to call it up quickly, you will see exactly what the definition of torture is.
Mr. Sullivan, sorry, I've got very little time from a full member. So just, do you have anything, any proof of a torture of a physical nature? Let me rather put it that way to you.
There's different types of torture. It wasn't physical.
Okay, how were you tortured? You can just give me the reason how you were tortured, Mr. Sullivan.
Okay, Act 13 of 2013 sets out quite clearly what torture is. And it states quite clearly, torture has a meaning assigned to it in Section 3. And it's defined as, the purpose of this act, torture means any act by which severe pain or suffering, whether physical or mental, is intentionally inflicted on a person for such purpose as to either obtain information, punish him or her for an act he or she or any other person has committed, or intimidate or coerce him.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. I understand. I'm asking, how were you tortured then? If you can explain to me.
Okay, so I was taken and placed in a cell with rats running around and sewage on the floor with nowhere to sit. And I was repeatedly told that I'd be in prison for the rest of my life. I will be charged with treason. And that is And that process went on for 3 days and nights. And I wasn't allowed to sleep.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. And I'm asking these questions, not that I'm saying you're saying the truth, I'm not saying the truth. What I'm saying, many South Africans go there, and it's why we're sitting here. Because I think many South Africans sit in cells that are dirty, sewage on the floor. And that's exactly what we do as oversight. And we need to better on that. In the same paragraph that you spoke about this, you also spoke about your phones were tapped. Who was responsible for tapping your phone, and do you have any proof of that?
Crime intelligence. And there's a sworn statement that's not included here. But there's a sworn statement by I think the guy's name is Isaac Meir. And in that sworn statement, he sets out how my phone was tapped.
If you could just please provide that to the committee at your earliest convenience.
I'll have to find it.
I think my time should almost be done. I just want to quickly go back quickly. Paragraph, where I said paragraph 37, 36. It seems that you were saying that the President Zuma and the ANC leadership. No, we covered that.
Pardon, which paragraph?
I think it was paragraph 36. I asked, would I be correct to assume what you have alluded to now in the witness statement is that you, Mr. Celebi, Mr. Mbeki, who you said to try help him, and former President Zuma was the catalyst? I think we're just clarifying that that was the paragraph we were alluding to early on, but you did answer the question. Paragraph 150, you mentioned you received death threats. You wrote to General Palani to inform him. I guess you believed he was making the threats, and you copied President Ramaphosa. And you do say then that you had no doubt that President Ramaphosa will say he was under the spell of Zuma. What did you mean by this? And what did former President Zuma have over President Ramaphosa?
Well,
And is this your opinion,
it's an
or
opinion.
was it something that was communicated to you?
No, it's an opinion. And if you have a look at page 1082, that contains the actual threat where they threatened to kill me. 1082. If you have a look at page 1082, it says, and this is the email that I sent to Pashlani on the 21st of November. And I've copied and pasted the threat in there. And it says, "Hello, Chief, this is a warning to you. We are aware that you are working for a big foreign spy, Paul Sullivan, who is funded by his masters. This man is in cahoot with Robert." Obviously, they mean Robert McBride. Lot of junior policemen, the police com, and lot of senior policemen who are paid by him with money from UK Kingdom. Unfortunately, you became part of them. You must stop now. We know where you stay and your family. Paul is a stupid old man. His days are numbered. We are on his heels. You must either choose to die with him. We are watching you, boy. We are about to finish Paul. We have everything on him from his family in the UK. He is a foreigner. Robert isn't clever. Tell him to leave this spy. I will see if you are listening. I'm
Mr.
not
Sullivan, sorry, I
going to
do need
warn
to
you again.
interrupt you. I understand that that's what the letter's content is, but my question is, you said that President Ramaphosa was under former President Zuma's spell.
Yes, and
Was that your opinion?
I'm
That's all I
saying-
want to know.
and I said, yes, that's my
Okay, that's, sorry, I've got very little time. Then you spoke about these death threats. Were there any attempts on your life at the time, at that given time? When, how did it happen?
Yes, there was attempts on my life at that time.
All right. And then in paragraph 10, you spoke about you were headhunted by Chubb in 1995. Why did they headhunt you specifically, and what skill sets did you possess at the time?
Let me just find that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, fine, it's finished.
The 15 minutes
Thank you, Chairperson.
have expired. The next speaker is Honorable Malem.
Thanks, Chairperson. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, you have admitted to have received money from DSO, right?
Correct.
And therefore, these documents that are presented before you are not in any way suggesting that they might be fraudulent. They're just confirming exactly what you have confirmed, that you have received money.
Well, I've never seen the documents before, but the document would appear to me, if I recall correctly, the amount that was paid to me at the time was 100,000 rand, not 1 million rand.
The question was not, have you seen the document before? The question was, what is reflected on this document is exactly what you have experienced in your account.
Yeah, but not the 1 million.
Why, no
100,000.
one has said 1 million. 1 million,
says
the
what-
person was trying to.
It says 1 million.
No. There's no one who says 1 million.
The
No one.
document says.
No, the document doesn't say 1 million.
It does.
If you look at the printed
Yes.
statement, it says 100,000.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it's saying.
Yes.
So to try and delegitimize what looks like a legitimate document is unacceptable.
I'm not trying to.
Not you, I'm just saying, following up to what was the impression that was created here, that this might not be correct figures. Why were they giving you money?
As I've said to you, they were refunding some of the expenses I'd incurred.
There's nowhere the written refund. There's no way. The first document says a request for an advance from the DSO confidential funds.
I haven't seen that document.
Have they not shared the document with you here?
That's all I've got, just that. I've not seen anything else.
Yeah, there is a document here from Scorpions
I've not seen.
that says
I've only seen it.
they're giving you advance.
I've not seen.
And there's two documents. The one says request for an advance from the DSO confidential funds. And then the other one says application for reward, Paul O'Sullivan.
I've not seen it.
Nowhere do they suggest that you are being refunded for anything.
Thank you.
So in a way, you are part of these people who have been benefiting from this slush fund.
Chairman, that allegation was made earlier. The slush fund I was talking about was the Crime Intelligence Slush Fund. Any payment that's made by the NPA or the DSO is not being made from the Crime Intelligence Slush Fund.
No, it's the same thing, Chief. It's the money that they don't account for. The DSO confidential fund.
Oh, I know nothing
It's
about.
police.
This is
Police money.
This is the first
Government
time,
money. It's the public money.
this is the first time I'm seeing this document. And in fact, what they did internally, I don't know about it. I just know that they made a contribution to some of the massive expenses I'd incurred in respect of investigations that I carried out in relation to the two projects. The one was called Project Coffee, and the other one was called Project Bad Guys.
Yeah, it's written here, project bad guys, brackets, coffee,
Yeah, were
coffee leg.
two projects. And it related to international drug smuggling syndicate with tentacles around the world. And this is not a reward. It says here it's a reward for information, but I'd never seen this document before. It wasn't a reward for information. It was refunding of expenses or partial refunding of expenses.
It makes the situation worse, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, because it means the money was released under false pretext.
Well, I know nothing about that.
Because if it says a reward and you call it a refund, it means whoever went to apply for this money lied
I don't know.
that you are being rewarded.
I've only seen the document today for the first time. But it lists a number of names and people that went to prison. So, yeah, I'm seeing it for the first time today.
Okay, let's leave that one. At least we confirm that you have received the money. We're just not finding each other about why you received the money. I just want you to assist the committee in relation to your professional background. So did you complete O level or A level?
O level and one A level.
One A level.
Yeah.
What, that is equivalent to what in South African terms?
I don't know how you equate it. I suppose it would be something like a matric.
So you've got metric.
They don't have a matric.
No, I'm saying it doesn't matter what they call
I
it
think
there.
it would be called the equivalent of a matric.
You've got an equivalent of metric.
Correct.
From there, which post metric or post A1 level did you go to?
So
University or technicon or anything of that
I
sort?
went to a technicon, but I'm not prepared to discuss my educational background.
Which one?
I said I went to a technicon, but I'm not prepared to discuss my educational background. I made that clear. And
No,
the
you're going
reason-
to have to discuss your educational background because you took our money. We hired you
No, you
at
didn't.
AXA.
I
At
didn't-
AXA. No, 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 no,
take
that's
the
our
money.
money.
Okay.
You only get that money if you have reached certain particular qualifications. So we want to see if you received that money legitimately.
Which money?
AXA, you worked for AXA, they were paying you a salary.
They paid a salary.
Yeah.
I gave them a good return on that money.
No, no, that, it doesn't matter. Did you get any tertiary qualifications?
Yeah, I did.
Which is what?
I'm not prepared to discuss it.
But I want to check if you're qualified.
You go ahead and check.
No, no, I want to check with you if you are qualified to be head of aviation security.
Well, then you should perhaps speak to.
And if you look at the report of the 2002, there is no even such a structure in the organogram of AXA. In the report of AXA, there is nothing called group aviation security, group heads aviation security. You are the only person who's using that concept. No one at AXA is using that concept. Even the advert, there were 2 adverts that year which were taken out. None of those adverts say head, group head aviation security. They say aviation security.
So I think, I don't know where you're getting your information from, but I think it's defective. I'd like to refer you to a page in the annexes. Come to the page number now. I'd like you to refer to page 62.
Yeah.
And page 63.
Yeah.
And page 64. So on page 62, it's addressed to Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Director, Executive Group Security. Page 63, it's addressed to Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Group Executive Security. On the business news or engineering news article, which is page 64, if you look at the second paragraph or the third paragraph on the left-hand side, it says, according to AXA Group Executive Aviation Security, Paul O'Sullivan, this is substantially more than was likely to be allocated had the 2001 terrorism attacks not occurred. And it talks about 150 or 140 million rand budget to improve security. So perhaps those 3 references would indicate that there is in fact a position called Group Executive Aviation Security.
No, the 2 heading don't speak to that.
Pardon me?
The 2 heads, the 2 things that you referred me to under Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Director, Executive Group Security. That's number 1. Number 2, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Group Executive Security.
Correct.
There is nowhere where they call you Group Head Aviation Security.
So that my job title was Group Executive Aviation Security. So if you look at the page 64, on the third paragraph on the left-hand side, it says, according to AXA Group Executive Aviation Security, Paul O'Sullivan. So
No. That's what you call yourself. That's not what your employer calls you. I mean, this is an article. What you are referring me, it's an article of a newspaper, and that's how you would have said This is how they must address you. But where you are being addressed officially in the letter of the institution, it says Director Executive Group Security. Then the second one, it says Group Executive Security. Nowhere do they refer to you as Group Head Aviation Security.
So those people wrote what they thought was my position. My position at the time and my contract of employment was Group Executive Aviation Security.
No, Mr. Paul, I'm saying to you, even the advert that was advertising that position did not write Group Aviation Security. It wrote Head Security.
It's 25 years ago.
Yes, then you arrived there and gave yourself a title that is non-existent
No, that's not
because
true.
it's not there in the gonogram of the institution. There's no such a position. In their report, if you go and read
Which
their
report?
2001 annual report, which will probably be published in 2002. If you go and check that report, you will realize that there's no such a position in that structure.
Chairman,
But let's pass that.
I'm just making the point that I was employed at AXA and I was employed in the position of Group Executive Aviation Security.
But say, I'm going to have a problem because you cannot refuse to tell me what are your tertiary qualifications, yet you occupy a head aviation security position, which its equivalent now, as if you look at the adverts this year, they require master's degree and some 5 years experience. So I could imagine during your time, there's no way, even the one that I'm referring you to, it says it requires a degree or an equivalent. That's why I want to check your qualification to match it with the requirements so that I can make a determination that you are indeed employed through your qualifications.
And am I correct in thinking, Chairman, that that's in the terms of reference of this committee to look into the qualifications of a civilian that has nothing to do with it?
It has got everything to do
We're
with it.
going back, no. We're going back more than 20 years. Okay, and my qualifications were obtained 40 years ago. So I am not going to get into a debate. I have rights, and my rights include the right to privacy. And you would know from the Constitution. And my right to privacy, I will maintain. And you can dig into my right to privacy if you want. I'm here voluntarily, and I'm not going to submit myself to providing information which I believe you're not entitled to. So you can repeatedly ask for it, and you can make all the assertions you wish, but I'm not supplying you.
You
with
know
my
why
private
you're
information.
making this a big issue is because you lied yesterday and told us about a technicon that is non-existent.
Oh, really?
It's not there. You did. You told us that you went to some Manchester engineer or something. The chair can confirm that.
Okay.
You said that yesterday that you went to Manchester Technicon or something. And then when we went to research that institution, you said you went to a training in engineering. We did not find such an institution existing.
Yeah, okay.
So, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, you occupied a senior position without qualifying because you had infiltrated the system.
If you believe that.
And
But you're
part of our investigation, the reason why we go to qualifications is we want to demonstrate that these people they don't have the necessary skills, yet they occupy strategic positions because of their proximity
in the police.
to those, not in the police.
But aren't we supposed to be looking, Chairman, at the allegations from the KZN Commissioner of Police, and instead you're now diverting? So what you've actually done, Chairman, is you've first of all invite me here, I come here, and now what you're doing is you're trying to impugn my character, and you've been doing it for the last 5 hours. And, you know, I'm
No,
not,
no, no, no.
I'm not going to cooperate with that.
No. You're going to cooperate. Look,
No, I'm
you,
sorry,
you
but
went,
won't
you
tell me
went,
what I'll
you went
cooperate
to, you went to mess up our IPT and our justice system, our criminal justice system. We're trying to establish as to who is this person who is alleged to have done the following in the institutions that we're investigating. It is in that context that we're asking you about yourself. And it shouldn't be difficult for a person who has taken an oath to tell the truth, but nothing else but the truth, that I went to school and this is why. I'm not asking you whether you passed with this higher degree or not. I'm just asking, where did you obtain your qualifications? Because yesterday you told us about a different technicon that is not a Manchester technicon.
Okay,
And then you are doing engineering.
you get the transcript of yesterday. and I
Now
think
today-
you'll find your mistake and.
Chair, can you please intervene and perhaps remind him of what he said?
Mr. Paul Robert O'Sullivan, you went to Manchester Technicon.
No, I
you-
said I
and you-
studied at Manchester and somebody
you-
said, is it a technicon?
If you listen to me, so
Okay,
that
sorry,
you know what you are going to respond to. You went to Manchester Technicon and you obtained a higher certificate in electronics. That is the evidence that you deposed here
Yes, that's
yesterday.
correct. And that is
Yes.
correct.
Okay.
But it's absolutely not called Manchester Technicon, but you know, somebody said, is it a Technicon? And I said, yes, but it's not. But anyway,
You see, you are now changing that, now that you are no longer prepared to talk about your qualifications. But I just demonstrated to you, you spoke about your qualifications yesterday. And you were not qualified to be employed as head of anything at AXA because you didn't possess the necessary qualifications. Number two, which I want to ask is, after you went to, is it military intelligence? Did you work anywhere else except when you left the military intelligence?
did I work anywhere? What?
Did you work anywhere after you left military intelligence?
Yes, I did.
Where?
I'm not telling you
Why?
because it's none of your business.
It's none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, that's fine. You don't have an answer. And I know you don't have an answer because the question after that was going to be, where did you get the money to invest in the property investment? Because you were just from school, went to military intelligence, and then the next thing you come to South Africa for tourism, you love the place, then come back to South Africa to invest in property development, and not only in South Africa, but in different kind of countries. Where do you get that money from? Because military intelligence will not have given you such pensions.
No, pension, I don't get a pension at the age of 26 or 20.
That's what I'm saying.
I did-
Where did you
I
get the
did
money
Property
to,
development and I made profit.
where did you get the money to invest in the property development?
The first development I did, I borrowed the money from the bank and I made a profit. And I reinvested that profit in another property. And I made a profit there. And I reinvested that in another property and I made a profit there. So that's how property development works.
No, I don't buy that story. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, property investment is a very expensive investment. My suspicion is that you were given money out of the military intelligence to go and be an investor in different countries to continue saving them, in spying those countries on their behalf. But you must look like you are an investor.
With respect, Chairman, I think the honourable member has been watching too much TV
Why?
because you're speculating.
You have never worked to get money to qualify to engage in property investment.
How do you know that?
That's what you told me, at least. You went to work at military in intelligence, And then from there, you worked in a firm, you can't tell me, because if you tell me that firm, I will be able to evaluate, to check,
No.
and make 1+1 to see if we can make such money to invest in property investment.
With all due respect, my property investment activities took place probably when you were still a baby.
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is, if a person is an entrepreneur and he makes money, how can you then jump into the conclusion that that person is being paid from a government fund or something of that nature? That's pure speculation, and you don't have a shred of evidence. So what you're actually doing is you are making these speculations. It's your idea, and it's wrong. And
No.
I'm just pointing out that you are wrong.
No, my idea is that because I was a baby, and it's not my problem that I was a baby, it is my mother's problem. She gave birth to me at that time. I've got nothing to do with what I was at that time. So because you were an old man, you have to teach me how you came about to become a property investor. You can say I'm formulating it because we've put you there, and we want you to educate us as to how did you become this big property investor from just military intelligence?
I won't say I was a big property developer, but I was a property developer. And when you bring money into South Africa, you convert it from pounds to rand, you get quite a significant amount more rand. And if you look at the property prices overseas, and you look at the property prices here, you can buy more property here for the same amount of money you will buy much less overseas. And I decided to get involved in property development. And if you find that suspicious, it's a problem. And I believe the reason you're finding it suspicious is because you and certain other members of this committee are looking for ways of covering up the criminal conduct of crime intelligence officials and the abuse of the slush fund. And that's why we have people like Pashlani, who's on trial at the moment, getting away with the crimes that they're committing, because Parliament, or certain parts of Parliament, are not exercising their duty of care and their duty to look after the interests of the country.
Mr. Paula Sullivan, if you know me, I'm not part of the nonsense you're talking about. Not me. I'm not part of any nonsense you're talking about. I'm not part of any slush fund or anything. I question people the same way I'm questioning you, all of them, including Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. I questioned him because I'm about the truth and nothing else but the truth. And I'm not going to be patronized or be intimidated by anyone, not me. They can try with other people, not me.
Okay.
So you must never ever group me with people who are involved with some people who are doing wrongdoings in the crime intelligence. If you have been following the proceedings here, you will see that I've taken the same posture with everyone. You are talking about former General Patlani. He's still coming to us. We are not done with him. When his turn comes, we'll attend to it. You are saying you are a certified fraud examiner. Who certified you?
The Association of Certified Fraud Examiners.
So, association where, here or in the USA?
It's a US, it's based in Austin in Texas.
So they give you a certificate which you perhaps attached here, which we can make reference to confirm that you are a certified fraud examiner.
Well, if you look at page 73,
Yeah.
and if you look at page 67.
67.
So page 67 says Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, South Africa chapter number 91. ACFESA, Certified Fraud Examiner of the Year, 2014, was awarded to Paul O'Sullivan for his contribution to the fight against fraud and white-collar crime. And if you look at the page 73, it says again, Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, South Africa chapter, ACFE, hereby awards Paul O'Sullivan with the Certified Fraud Examiner of the Year Award 2022, with all rights and privileges under the bylaws of the ACFE SA chapter.
So what requirements must one have to be admitted into doing this type of qualification?
I'd have to go on the website and have a look because, but you have to take exams, you have to undergo quite a lot of training. Yeah.
So now, what I want to understand is that were you expected to have some pre-qualifications before you entered this?
I think so, yeah. You'd have to go on the website and have a look at what the requirements are.
The issue of security clearance, you said to me at that time when you were head of aviation security, the issue of security clearance was not a requirement.
That's correct.
No, but when we look at the necessary act that was applying at the time, that was a requirement.
It became a requirement in 2003.
That was after you left?
No, before I left. It was made a requirement in 2003.
And then when they found you without having the security clearance, what happened at the national key point?
Then I could no longer be the national key point officer, and I could no longer be sitting on the National Aviation Security Committee.
Have you ever been found guilty of a GBV?
What's GBV?
Gender-based violence?
Yes, in 1999, I paid a 500 Rand admission of guilt fine for an alleged assault. And in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have paid the fine, but my lawyer at the time advised me that either there would be a trial or I could just pay the fine and it wouldn't be a criminal record. Unfortunately, I paid the fine. It was made a criminal record, and then it was subsequently, what do they call it? Expunged from the record.
Do you still have your firearm license?
Yes, I do.
Is it not the requirement that when you are found guilty of such a thing, they should withdraw your firearm license?
So there wasn't a trial and I wasn't found guilty. I just paid an admission of guilt fine. It's like if you're driving at 150 kilometers an hour and the speed limit is 120, you get a ticket in the post and you can either go to court and challenge it and then you get convicted and then it'll be on your record, or you pay an admission of guilt fine and then it doesn't appear on your record, although that is now changing because I think with the new, what do they call it, AARTO Act, even if you pay an admission of guilt fine now, it becomes part of your record. But at that time, it wasn't the case.
Have you ever faced any allegations of sexual misconduct?
No,
There was never an allegation that you were accused of raping an underage girl
definitely
who
not.
was in the Randburg area, who was a
Absolutely not.
close, who was a daughter of a close friend.
Absolutely not. I mean,
And that will mean you have not even tried to pay any bribe to those parents to.
I've
try
never
to-
had such allegations made, nothing of any nature whatsoever.
What is your relationship with McBride?
Robert McBride, I have no relationship with him.
Professionally?
When he was at IPID, yes.
What required you to work with him at IPID, which makes it difficult to work with him when he's outside IPID?
Because I'm not involved with him now. When he was working at IPID, he was the executive director of IPID.
Mhm.
And he was unlawfully suspended, and he was off work for, I think, 10 or 12 months. And during that period, I opened a criminal docket against General Pashlani. And that was in February, I think February the 16th in 2016. And after I opened that docket, there was no investigation. So for 10 months, there was no investigation by IPID. And because they refused to investigate, I continued gathering evidence myself. But after March, I refused to supply any of that evidence to IPID because they were leaking it to General Pashlani. So at the end of October 2016, the Constitutional Court found that Robert McBride's suspension was unlawful, and he was reinstated. And after he was reinstated, immediately after he was reinstated, I reached out to him and I said, hey, you know, we need to pick this docket up. I opened it 10 months ago and there's been no investigation. And that was my first proper sit down with him to explain what happened on that docket. He then appointed Matthews Sissoko to put a team together, and the head of that
Sorry,
team-
Mr. O'Sullivan, there's
Pardon?
a request that you speak to the mic.
Oh, sorry. So he put a team together. Let me just move my chair. He put a team together and the investigation was carried out. And during the process of that investigation, 3 weeks into that investigation, there was a threat to murder myself and to murder Mandla Mashlangu, who was leading that team. And as a result of those threats to murder myself and Mandla Mashlangu, we had further meetings, and it was decided that we needed to find out who these threats were coming from or where they were coming from. And they managed to trace the phone to a police official that worked at OR Tambo, but the police official claimed that he lost his phone the day before the threats were made. So it never got anywhere. And I mean, then what happened? So that was in November, towards the end of November 2016. On about between 10 or 12 or 13 of December, we had a braai. It was a year-end braai. And Mandla Mashlangu was there, Robert McBride was there, Cedric Nkabindi was there. There were 2 other guys, I can't remember their name, from IPID. And I was there. Some of my staff were there. I think 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 6 of my staff were there. And we had a braai, and it was a year-end braai, and that day I was flying overseas. And 3 days after that braai, General Prince Mokateri, who was then the unlawfully appointed head of DPCI in Gauteng, leaked a media article through a private investigator by the name of Chad Thomas to the media. And the article alleged that a secret meeting took place instead of a braai, and that the purpose of the secret meeting was to discuss overthrowing the government, and that the persons present at the secret meeting, apart from myself and McBride and others, was the DA and AfriForum and a journalist. Of course, the whole thing was fabricated.
See, I'm being very patient, but my time.
But the media made a big meal of it, a massive meal of it. So I then invited General Mokateri to take no, not I. Robert McBride invited General Mokateri to take a polygraph test, and he agreed to take the polygraph test. And I said to Robert McBride, he should also take the polygraph test. So he did take the polygraph test. And after he took the polygraph test, which he passed, and the question was, were you at a meeting where you talked about overthrowing the government? And he passed. And the question for Mokateri would have been, is this case you opened for allegedly overthrowing the government real or not real? And he refused to take the polygraph test. So that was kind of the end of it.
That's fine. And then Naim Kasim, what is your professional relationship with him?
Naim Kasim, if I go back to, trying to remember the year, either 2011 or 2012, I'm trying to remember the year. Naim Kasim was a client. He came to us. He asked us to carry out an investigation in respect of certain events that had taken place with him. He owned an OK Bazaar in Brits. And he alleged that certain people had threatened him and beaten him, and he had the video evidence and stuff like that. So we sat with him, we interviewed him, and we carried out an investigation.
So he was a client.
He was a client, yeah.
Moti will also be a client.
Today,
Moti is your client.
no, the company, there's a, Zunaid Moti owns a group of companies called the Moti Group. And today,
Now I'm talking Zunaid Moti.
yes, Zunaid Moti is not a client.
It's not your client.
No, but he
You
owns,
don't work for him.
no, he owns a group of companies, and the group of companies are clients of ours.
How many passports do you have?
Or,
Yesterday you said 3.
yeah, so because my passport was running short of pages, I got a second passport. So I have 2 South African passports, 1 Irish passport and 1 British passport.
No, you did an interview, I can't remember, with you in a book where you said you've got 4 passports.
Yes, I have 4 now as well.
Yeah, South Africa, Ireland, Britain, and then the 4th one.
South Africa.
So you have 2 passports of South Africa.
Yes, because when you want to go to a country, you have to have pages in your passport. If your pages run out, you can't enter a country because you need to have so many blank pages. Also, if you want to get a visa to go somewhere in your passport, you have to leave your passport at an embassy.
No, but those are passport books. Passports means passport, as in
Yes, I'm talking passport. You have
the one that is full, it doesn't matter if it's full. I just wanted to know, because when I say how many passports do you have, I mean, which many countries do you belong to?
3.
3.
Yeah,
South Africa, Britain, Ireland
correct.
only.
Yes.
So you have 3 passports, not 4.
Actual
Passports
documents,
mean
I have
you're-
4. I have two South African passports, obviously valid.
Thank you so much, honorable members. That time has come to an end. Honorable Matthys. No, I'm not taking, we are pressed for time. I don't want to come and find myself in trouble with the latter speakers. Honorable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. O'Sullivan. Have you ever applied for security clearance in any country?
Only in South Africa. In fact, what happened was when I filled in the forms and I handed them in, they said to me, but you've got dual nationality. And I said, yes. They said, then you can't get security clearance.
So did you submit your application though?
I handed it to, I can't remember the name of the person now, a general. When you hand it, you have to be, when you hand it in, you have to have a sit-down meeting with them and they go through your forms. And when I sat down, this would have been back in 24, 25 years ago. And when I sat down with him, he said, oh, but hang on a minute. You have dual nationality. And I said, yes. He said, then you can't get security clearance.
So there was no process that followed?
No, it stopped.
Have you sent any messages or communicated with Denayo Mokwele?
Who?
Denayo Mokwele.
I don't know. Who's that person?
You've never sent her any messages. She's the one that has been arrested with General Khumalo for apparently submitting illegal qualifications.
Ah, the brigadier.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you call her a little girl?
No.
Okay.
I requested a meeting with her because we wanted to find out. And she said to me, I'm not prepared to speak to you. You must speak to HR of the police.
And then you didn't say anything. You didn't refer to her as a little girl.
No. In fact, I sent you an email, I think. Can I pull up the email and read it to you?
I don't think it's necessary at the moment. If you're saying you didn't, it's fine. We will move on. Have you ever been charged in any other countries? Or have you ever been charged in any other countries?
No,
So you've got no convictions in any other countries?
none at all.
When you left South Africa now recently, when did you leave?
I can't remember the date, but it was last year.
And then when did you return?
I came in and out. So I went to, I went to the UK, I came back, I went to Australia and then to Fiji. I came back from Australia and then I went back to the
I'm
UK.
just kind of asking you, when did you come back?
I can't remember the dates.
So we can confirm with Home Affairs.
Yes, you can confirm with Home Affairs.
No problem. Did you provide a security clearance certificate to Parliament? Or you just wrote to us saying that your life was under threat?
I don't understand. Did I?
Now I'm saying, was there a security assessment done? Did you provide a security assessment from a
No.
credible institution?
No.
So it was Parliament acted and provided state resources for your security based on your email saying that you have a security, your life is in danger.
What I supplied to Parliament was the evidence.
Oh, what was the evidence?
The I don't have social media, but somebody downloaded it and provided it to me. And I sent that to,
Oh, it was social media, okay.
yeah, where they were threatening me. And they said that I should be shot or there should be a shootout. And whoops, there should be a shootout with me.
And is that in your experience, should be something that, credible for a government institution based on a social media post?
So
Instead of doing an assessment, because my understanding is that a security assessment can be based on evidence that there may be a threat.
So if you have a single message where a person's threatening you, then I think that would call for a bit more of an investigation. But we're talking about, I think, 20 or 30 from different people on
But
social
what I'm
media.
saying is that you submitted evidence, right? That there are people that are threatening you on social media, but there wasn't an assessment on whether those threats were legit or not. And then Parliament came to the rescue and provided you with security using state resources without a security assessment.
That would appear to be the case.
Okay. Let's talk about AfriForum. When did you become a member of AfriForum?
In 2016?
2016. Do they fund you?
No.
So, and then beyond you paying your membership fee,
I pay 120 Rand a month.
120 a month.
Yeah.
Must be nice to be AfriForum. And then do you fund them for anything else outside of your membership fee?
No, I don't.
For cases you have never given them any money, donations in kind,
I think I might have given them a donation.
more or less how much, do you remember?
I think it was a bottle of Jameson whiskey.
So they shared it amongst themselves, or it was for the director or something?
I gave it to Kali Creel.
Oh, okay. And you said in 2016? 2016. And what informed your decision to become a member of AfriForum?
In 2016, I got invited to a meeting with Kali Creel. And I think it was Mampela, what's her name? Mampela, I'm trying to remember, we call her Ma. She found me, she said she wanted me to have a meeting with Kali Creel. So I went to the meeting with Kali Creel. And Kali Creel told me that AfriForum wanted to set up an anti-corruption unit and to have internal investigations going. And would I be prepared to sit with them and give them advice about how to do, not how to do the investigations, but how to set up such a unit. So I sat with them. I think we had several meetings, and then I can't remember the name of the lady now, but they introduced me to a lady who became the head of anti-corruption at AfriForum. And then I consulted with them probably 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And I subsequently found out that they then started that unit, and I believe they offered position to Advocate Gerinel and some of the other
Mr.
people.
Sullivan, you're not really answering the question. The question was, what informed your decision, not how it happened and the meetings, but from what I understand, and I think we can safely summarize that it was because they wanted to set up an anti-criminal unit.
It informed that, and plus the fact that they had a telephone number that you can ring.
Okay.
If somebody tried to do something to you.
But it was around crime.
Pardon me?
But it was about crime, their
Yes,
response to
yes,
crime.
yes.
Okay, so I think we covered. So this comes, okay, let me ask you this before we go. Do you align with AfriForum's claims that there's a genocide here in South Africa?
No.
But you're still a member and you pay 120 Rand every month to them?
Yeah, so, you know, I pay my taxes too, but I don't align with everything.
I'm
that goes
just
on in
asking,
South
because
Africa.
this is a voluntary thing. If there's two
Yeah.
things that happen in this life when
Look-
you are born, is that you're going to die and you're going to pay taxes.
Yes.
Joining AfriForum is the
if-
choice.
If I'm satisfied to pay 120 Rand a month, because in return for that, I have a toll-free number that I can call.
Oh, okay.
And when I'm not in the country, my wife can phone that number.
Oh, okay.
If there's some
So with
incident,
someone with such means, you need to subscribe to an organization who goes around and says that your beloved country that you love so much during apartheid of 1980s, you will be a member and give them 120 rand a month.
So I believe that the Constitution gives people the right. to
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm
choose
agreeing, you
what
have a
they
right,
say.
I agree, okay.
And I don't have to explain.
No, you don't, we got it, thank
I'm
you.
happy for that 120 rand a month, to have the ability to
Yeah.
have a toll-free number that I can call.
Oh,
It's
okay.
And to be frank with you, I was very happy that AfriForum, when they could see all the injustice that was going on.
Okay, I'm
with
not asking
myself,
you what you're happy with
Well,
AfriForum,
they
that's
came,
not,
they
no,
came
no,
to the party
no.
and they
But,
assisted.
yeah, I am very glad that we,
Okay.
that was not the question.
All
So do you see how that recommendation letter that was read out earlier, where someone recommended recommended to the Home Affairs Department back in the 80s, that you must get a work permit, and it specifically said that you are going to be of benefit to the white community. And then you said you don't remember,
No, I
you were
didn't
just
say I
told to
don't
sign it.
remember. I said I never saw that letter.
Okay.
I saw it for the first
But you
time.
said you were told
yesterday.
to write it. So do you
No,
see how
no,
that
no,
thing
no.
aligns?
Sorry, Chairman, you're getting mixed up between the handwritten note.
Mm.
In the handwritten note, I didn't say I will be of benefit to the white community.
I didn't say that also.
was a
I
typewritten
said a
letter.
recommendation letter. Do you see how it lines up? How it can be aligned, that how you are a benefit to a white community that goes around and tells the whole world that there's a genocide in our country. Your relationship with members of parliament, do you have any? Do you engage members of parliament?
No,
Have you ever engaged any members of parliament?
from time to time.
Which ones?
Diane Kohler-Barnard.
Mm-hmm. What do you engage her about?
Well, I haven't engaged her for quite a while, but it would have been about corruption. I would have supplied her with evidence of the cases that we have opened, because at one stage, I'm going back quite a few years, Diane Kohler-Barnard was the, what do you call it? Shadow something to do with safety and security.
Mm. And on that matter, did you, your communications, because she also was a witness here and we asked her the same question about her relationship with you. So your communication, was it also around the operation get rid of General Paglani?
No.
Okay. And then who else?
I think I might have said hello to Honourable Ian Cameron at a fraud conference last year.
Mm-hmm. We're not asking about just hellos. You also came to greet us here yesterday. So we're talking about where you have a direct line, like how you have direct lines to a lot of high-ranking officials in the police. That, no, is there anybody else?
Gilnis Breitenbach.
Mm-hmm. How often have you guys, or how often do you communicate with her?
Maybe once or twice a year.
Okay.
And it would be in a friendly way, you know, a phone call, how are you, you know, what. Because at the time of, I'm trying to remember what year it was. At one point in time, she was a director or deputy director of prosecutions. And she was targeted by others in the NPA. And my understanding, and you would have to ask her, my understanding is that she was targeted because she was doing investigations which related to.
Did you assist her during that period?
No, I didn't.
So you just
assist her.
spoke, okay.
I just spoke to her and I wished her all the best.
Okay. And so are there any other MPs from any other parties that you have relationships or have engaged with? Because just the Democratic Alliance.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think obviously my dear friend,
Don't call
Mr.
my
Malema,
your dear friend. It's your besties.
Him and Ivory.
I
him and
know.
Him and I sit and have a whiskey once a week.
He doesn't drink whiskey. Let's talk about the police. Your house was raided, or not raided. I'm just trying to find.
Thank you so much. The 15 minutes has expired.
Yeah.
Honorable Sangwan.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Honorable Souls, you are next.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mr. O'Sullivan.
Good
Sorry with the twisting and the turning there. Mr.
Chair, sorry, I must understand. Sorry, I'm going.
What happened?
Chair, I must understand. Why am I next?
Bangazita has made an arrangement with Honorable Sangone to speak now.
And
Thank
then
you.
then it should just mean he follows and then I go after him.
After her is you.
That's not the order, Chair. I'm after IFP. And Chair didn't speak about or with me about that arrangement.
I can be IFP now if you want, Honorable Sol.
Sorry?
I can be IFP. You know, we're one government, all of us, me, you, IFP.
With respect, Honorable Songani. Chairperson, I'm an equal member here. If there's arrangements made, include me. Don't just tell me from the bench. As a result, this wasn't discussed with me. So I will follow through on the proper rotation. It's IFP, then it's me. I must be included in such arrangements. I can't be coming here and just here and I'm told. Doesn't work like that, Chair. Show me respect also.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you, Mbangazita, for allowing me to go in your spot. Good afternoon, Mr. O'Sullivan. I'm going to start here because I mean I've heard you raising this issue with a number of the members just on the terms of reference. So the terms of reference require us to investigate any related claims regarding corruption, financial or otherwise, bribery, misuse of public resources within SAPS or any other institution, and then evaluating the extent of misconduct, unethical behavior by members of SAPS and any other relevant individuals or institution. So I need you to understand, you know, our engagement in that light. You testified here, and I think from what you've heard coming out from the members, there's obviously a lot of concern about what is perceived as your infiltration of the intelligence services. And sorry, the SAPS and intelligence services. So tell me, this process, yesterday you were asked about your appointment as a police reservist. What was the process for the appointment of a reservist? You indicated the husband to your PA saw you, but what was the actual process?
So let's just pick it up from my memory. My secretary suggested I should meet with the husband, which I did. And he told me that I would have to go and do training. I would have to fill in forms. And they would carry out the criminal record check on me. And if I passed the training, I would become a police reservist. And that's what I did. And when I became a police reservist, my initial activity as a police reservist was crime prevention, which is...
May you please get to the microphone?
Sorry. My initial work as a police reservist was crime prevention. And then, not Major Edwards, but another person, I can't remember his name, and I think he was a colonel. It's a long time ago. He said to me, actually, there's a course coming up, you can go and do some training to become a detective.
Okay, so I want to come back to that, Mr. O'Sullivan, but just tell me, do you remember what the requirements to become a police reservist were?
Yes, you had to be able to give, I think, 8 hours a week. You had to have no criminal record. You had to be able to drive.
Let me tell you what they are now. So, in order to be appointed as a reservist in the South African Police Service, you must be a South African citizen by birth. You must be between the ages of 25 and 40. Then there's a whole other a number of requirements which I won't go into. But then a person may not be appointed under the following circumstances. So you cannot appoint anybody who is in private investigation services and then it breaks them down. So there was no requirement to be a South African citizen when you joined the police reservists?
That's correct.
Now, having ascertained that then, you now say that you joined this, so at this point, I think you're probably a permanent resident. You join criminal detection, you said.
So when I first joined, I was based at what was then called Halfway House. It's now called Midrand. And we were doing crime prevention duties, which they were pairing us up with permanent members of the service. And you had to wear a uniform and you go out with them and you did crime prevention patrols. Sometimes you'd be doing first attendance at a scene of a crime or a traffic accident or something of that nature. And then I think 2 or 3 months after that happened, I was invited by a colonel, I can't remember his name. He said to me that there's a training course going, we need some reservist detectives. And the training took place in Pretoria. And you had to be able to spend 3 or 4 weeks full-time on this training. Would I be prepared to go? And I said, yes, I would like to do that. So I went.
Okay, I know what you are talking about because reservists have 2 categories. One is functional policing, which is a general policing function that you're talking about, and you only wear uniform there only after you've completed specific training. Then the second category is specialized operational support, which would then be the people who have particular skills or expertise, such as detectives. Now, my first issue is you saying it was only after 3 months instead of the ordinary 3 to 5 years that you can move from functional policing to specialized. Yours only took 3 months?
That's what they asked me at the time. So I don't know what it is today, but then that's what they asked me to do. So I was happy to do that. And then after I completed that training, they assigned me to Boyson's police station. And I went and I worked there as a detective.
Okay. So to now move from this category of specialized operational support to move to it, you must have had particular skills or expertise that could be used by SAP, perform specific functions within his or her expertise. So you joined essentially functional policing, you were identified for training, and then you moved to the second category, which is only reserved for people with specialized skills where you didn't have any.
So I think at that moment in time, what you've just described now, and I mean, obviously I haven't been in the reservists for almost 30 years, so it's a long time ago. But I think the current situation isn't what prevailed back then. And I don't have any copies of what prevailed then, but I don't think it was anything like you just explained.
Okay, so I suppose, you know, coming into a foreign country, you are a permanent resident, you move quickly. Okay, let's leave it. You're saying you don't quite think it was the same. But in your opinion then, Mr. O'Sullivan, don't you see anything strange with a former foreign intelligence operative coming in and, you know, whether the rules were tightened or not, but coming into the country, then over the next couple of years, becomes so deeply embedded in our law enforcement and even intelligence structures of essentially what is another country? I mean, you were a foreign intelligence operative, like we've gathered. Is this normal to you?
I don't know what's normal, but at the time I didn't see anything wrong with it because I wasn't going to be involved in any intelligence activity. And by the way, at the time, I was a long time out of doing any work of anything to do with military or intelligence. I was a long time out of it, probably 10 years or more. So I ceased to be involved in any intelligence activity 10 years before I joined the police service.
But I mean, the training stays with you, right?
Oh, I suppose some of it, but as I pointed out before, I was involved in counter operations, so I wasn't involved in spying and stuff like that. So
Okay, I'll come to that. Now, during the training, you mentioned that President Ramaphosa was one of the 1,500 reservists you trained. Who else did you train? I'm sure you may remember some of them. And how did it come about that you got to train President Ramaphosa?
So at the time, President Ramaphosa wasn't the president. He was a businessman. And how he came to be on the course, my understanding, and maybe you need to ask him, but how I understand he became on the course, he was a chairman or director of a company called, if I think, maybe JCI, something like that. So I had bought some properties from JCI, by the way. They were selling stands at a development in Dainfern. And I bought some properties there. This stands were being sold cheaply because it was just started, but as it grew, the value of the properties went up. And I think I bought three stands there. And then what happened, although that had nothing to do with Cyril Ramaphosa, these courses would take place, and I was not involved in the decision as to who should be on the courses. I would just arrive there, and we've got a new course starting, and I would see the students that would be sitting there. So I had no knowledge.
Sorry to interrupt.
But my understanding is that, I'm trying to remember his name now, Mayor Khan, at the time was the CEO of South African Breweries. And Mayor Khan apparently had a meeting with Cyril Ramaphosa, Mr. Ramaphosa, and suggested to him it would be good to demonstrate the need to have more police reservists because crime problems in Johannesburg were becoming a bit hectic. And my understanding is that he decided, oh, this is a good idea. At the time, he was living in Fairlands or in Northcliffe, somewhere there. And he took a decision that he wanted to become a police reservist. Now, after he completed his training, he would have then been assigned to Fairlands Police Station. So I would have not been involved in whatever work he did after that. But I was only responsible for those aspects of his training that sit in here. I was not involved in his firearm training or his marching.
Thank you, Mr. Silverman. What led to Ms. Sarah Jane Trent terminating her employee in your company?
I think she'd been there about 7 years, and she indicated that she wanted to move on. You know, if you've got a small business, you can reach a point where there's no further room to grow. And she indicated that she wanted to move on.
Okay. Are you still on good speaking terms with her?
Yeah. In fact, when she left, she said, oh, must I hand my laptop back or whatever? And I said, you know what? It's yours. You can keep it. She'd been using it for a number of years.
Okay. I'm going to try and move quite quickly before I run out of time. I'm going back to the permanent residency. You said to Honorable Malema, you had money to purchase property because of the rand-dollar exchange rate. Now, around 1984, the exchange rate was close to parity. I think it was rand pound. It was £1 to R1.60 for most of the decade. Do you still stand by the fact that you raised your money through, those fluctuations in exchange rate?
Yes, in fact, at the time, Chairman, we had a thing going in the country which was intended to induce investors to come into the country, and they called it the financial rand. So I can't remember what the ratio was, but they practically doubled your money. And at the time, when I brought the funds in, the first batch of funds, the exchange rate, if I remember, was 190 or 181 or something like that to the pound. And we ended up getting 3 rand to the pound. So it automatically boosted the
Okay.
amount of cash that you brought in. But you couldn't bring that cash in and then have it as cash. You could only bring it in if you invested. So you had to buy property or you had to invest in a company or something like that. So
Okay.
I brought money in on the financial rand.
So let's talk about the investment then. So in 1986, you invest in property in South Africa. In 1989, you apply for permanent residency and you say as a person of independent means. Now, owning property or investing in property in South Africa does not automatically lead to permanent residency. I mean, regardless of how long it's been held. And I think you'll know the criteria for residency. So I think the only exception to that is if your property price or the property value is in excess of 12 million rand in today's money net worth, then you become this financially independent person who can then get a permanent residency. So is this the point that you're making, is that the portfolio that you held at that time was so large that it was only on the basis of it that you got your permanent residency?
No, so it wouldn't be whether you have property or not property. You had to demonstrate that you're a person of independent means. And I don't know what the rules were that they use, but you sit down and you explain what assets you have and what liabilities you have. And they make a decision then that you either are a person of independent means or you're not. And they decided that I was a person of independent means. I had to attend South Africa House in Trafalgar Square in London and be interviewed. And I carried out the interview. And they, I think 3-4 months later, by that stage, I already owned a house here, but I only came as a visitor. And 3-4 months later, I got a phone call from the embassy and they said, okay, your application has been approved. You must come in and picked up my permanent resident certificate. And then I had to activate it within 3 months. So I had to come and live here within 3 months, which I did.
Okay. I suppose the point that I'm getting to, Mr. O'Sullivan, is that a lot of things either changed for you or you managed to do a lot of things that ordinary people don't get to do, you know? So you were either extremely wealthy for your permanent residence could have been processed that quickly. You moved quickly through the reservist program. Yeah, but I'm just saying there's something there. You were asked yesterday about your knowledge of the situation in South Africa. And I'm linking this to what you were talking about, your work in counter-espionage. So you insisted that you worked largely with the Irish Republic Army, counter-espionage as it relates to the IRA. Am I correct?
I didn't work with the IRA.
I mean, you did counter-espionage work in relation to the IRA.
The counter-terrorism activity.
Okay. IRA is the Irish Republic Army, am I right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you're of Irish origin, you lived in the UK, and you did work with the IRA. I would assume...
For the record, I didn't work with the IRA.
What is the English term? Oh, I think I'm losing the word. You were working against the IRA? You were investigating, spying? I'm sorry, I don't know the right word to use.
So the purpose was to make sure... it was to combat the terrorist activities
of the IRA.
Yes, in the early 70s, things were happening. They were setting off bombs here and there.
That's where I'm coming. Yeah. That's where I'm coming, Mr. O'Sullivan. So the IRA is long thought to be the armed wing of Sinn Féin. And I'm sure as you were countering the work of the ARA, you would know that. Sinn Féin and the African National Congress have got a very, very long relationship dating back to, I mean, even before the early 80s, but definitely while you were busy with the IRA. You also, I mean, your roots to Ireland, you've spoken about, you had Ireland, Netherlands being some of the most vocal anti-apartheid movements at that time. Now, with you working to counter the IRA, you have never come across the history of South Africa, the African National Congress, and the struggle that was being undertaken in this country.
So I think this was, Chairman, this was put to me yesterday, and I explained that I was very young then, and I was low down on the pecking order. I wasn't involved.
But Mr. O'Sullivan, your work is to know what the IRA is doing, which speaks to all of their tentacles, their Sinn Féins, and
It was operational work. It wasn't intelligence work. It was counter-terrorism. It was operational work.
so you don't need to understand anything about them in the course of doing that.
If I was at this level, and there were other levels, it would be the people up here somewhere, the senior people, that would have been involved in all that. I had no knowledge. I didn't even know what the ANC was in those days.
Okay, I find that strange to believe, but it's okay. Not that I'm saying everybody should know about the mighty African National Congress.
Well, of course I know now, but then I had no idea, none whatsoever.
So you never come across, whether it's in Ireland, Netherlands, UK, anti-apartheid movements and what they were, I mean, you had young people, President Mbeki, they were marching in the streets of London. You never heard of such a thing.
I heard about the anti-apartheid movement, so I was aware of that, but I didn't understand the relationship between the ANC and the IRA. I had no knowledge.
But anti-apartheid movement in South Africa, did you understand that relationship?
I remember there was trying to remember the song now. I used to like it. Johanna.
Let's move before you
remember
start singing, Mr. O'Sullivan.
I remember that song, and I used to like it. And to be frank with you, my activities had nothing to do with Africa. But to be frank with you, I actually didn't like what I saw going on. Now, and I can tell this little story if you want, but
Please
you
don't.
may not want.
No, I don't. I'm running out of time because the point that I was driving is you said you didn't know anything that was happening.
Yeah, at that time. But later, 10 years later, when I came here for holiday, I started meeting people and I got friends. And I remember having one friend. He's since passed away. He was a lot older than me. And I hired a car. And I invited this person to go with me on a trip to Kruger Park.
Mr.
And
O'Sullivan,
when we got to, well,
I
this is very
promise I'd
important.
like to
When
hear
we
the
got to
story,
Kruger-
but I've
when we
got my
to
answer. I
Kruger
need to move.
When we got to Kruger Park, I had to make him sit in the back seat because he was black.
Okay.
And if he was to sit in the front seat with me, I would be told that, there's something not right there.
Okay. Mr. O'Sullivan, you've just confirmed that you don't have a security clearance. And when you were talking today, you said it's not the function of someone with no security clearance to be managing informants, speaking about General Mkwanas. So how is it your function to be managing informants when you don't have security clearance?
I'm not a police officer.
So that means that you can do as you please because you're not bound by having a security clearance?
But I don't manage informants.
But you've been telling us about your informers and your
No, so-
informants and
With all due respect, just so you can understand the difference, managing informants means that you have an informer who's working in a criminal syndicate and you're paying them and they're bringing information to you and you task them to go and find out this and go and find out that. I never did any of that. We have.
not sure because
have
your
peop-
evidence speaks to
we-
people you pay for hotels, for travel, for this.
We
It's
had-
essentially the same
We
thing.
had people that would contact us and give us information. That's what we call casual informers. They come and give you that information.
Okay.
I never managed any informers whatsoever. The police, crime intelligence manage informers.
Okay. How is the National Commissioner of South African Police Services appointed, Mr. O'Sullivan?
If I understand correctly, it's a decision of the president.
So why do you say in paragraph 90 that Ele pushed his favorite Masemula to be appointed National Commissioner if this is a decision of the president?
Sorry, what paragraph is this?
Paragraph 19.
So the reason I say it,
90, sorry.
the reason I say that, and again, you could say that that's probably speculation, but curiously enough, I met him again the day before yesterday, the Honourable Minister of Finance. And in 2022, I sat on a plane with him from Durban to Johannesburg, and we had a long discussion because at that moment in time, there was no permanent commissioner of police. I think it was January or February 2022. And I had a long discussion with him, well, an hour on the plane. And he pointed out to me that they had a short list and these are the people and what.
Sorry, this is the Minister of Finance.
Correct.
Can you give us a name?
He wears a hat. He was on the-
Godongwana.
Pardon?
Minister Godongwana.
Yes. He was on the plane day before yesterday when I flew to Cape Town. And I said, hey, you know, we greeted each other. But the reality of the situation is, I obviously receive information. And the information I received was that they wanted to push General Reed out from the police service. And General Reed, I can't remember what his exact position was, but he oversaw another general that managed procurement within the police service.
Sorry, Mr. O'Sullivan, that's not what I was asking you. I was asking you why you would say, or maybe let me rephrase. So Minister Ele has got no authority to appoint a national commissioner, which sends me to my next question. What role did you play in the appointment of the national commissioner? Because in media interviews, you seemed to be very vocal about the process. What role did you play?
I was approached
By who?
by Johnny Chowki. So I have to tell the truth because I've sworn to tell the truth. And I don't think I could say anything different to that. I was approached by Bajani Chowki, who at the time was special advisor to President Ramaphosa. And he informed me that they were looking at appointing a permanent appointee. This was now after Kekle Sitoli had been relieved of his duty. And they asked for informal advice. So I asked, well, if you give me the names of the people, which they did, I said, we'll carry out a lifestyle audit of these people, which we did.
Sorry, who's we?
Forensics for Justice.
Okay.
So we carried out a lifestyle audit, and I then sent a report to Bajani. I think there were 8 names on the list. Pardon? Sorry, I think there were 8 names on the list. And one of the names was Masemola. And one of the names was Mkunazi. There were several other names as well. I mean, if you wait, I can call up the report and we can discuss it. But my recommendation was that there were 6 names on the list that would have been unsuitable for appointment because of their lifestyle.
What would have made Mr. Chauke come to you? what were you, what value? Okay, let's move. How is the National Police Commissioner removed, Mr. O'Sullivan?
There's two ways. I think the president can remove him, or the president can convene a formal inquiry to determine fitness to hold office.
So an individual like you cannot remove a National Police Commissioner according to the Constitution. So when you said to General Pahlane, I will now turn my attention to having you ejected from your position, what do you mean and how were you going to do that?
I meant by that the criminal charges would result in him being removed from his position.
So do you make it a norm to go around intimidating people and even to the extent of attempting to extort people like General Pahlane, people like General Masemula, the list goes on, the attorneys for Krecha, the Mapungane journalist, why do you do that? I mean, I've got text and text of messages that you sent here to General Pahlane. He came before us and he gave evidence that you have been threatening him. Amongst the things you said, if you do not take action against Munu now, I'm turning my attention back to you. You fix Munu and Krecha, I will lose interest in you. If you don't, I'll be all over you like a bag-fitting suit. Hey, Pahlane, if you think this is a dream, you better wake up. At some point, you, who did you call? It was Mr. Duplessis. I think Mr. Duplessis, you said, hi, scum, where is it now? But I think you get the general sense. And I mean, we've got the evidence also from Mr. Ngabinde. What is happening here, Mr. O'Sullivan?
Well, I suppose one could say that conduct might not be as professional as it could be. But when you're dealing with corruption and criminals, and there was no doubt in my mind by that stage that I was, that's the way it would work. And I've got somebody, for example, trying to kill me. And I'm using as an example, you talk Radovan Krecha's attorneys. Obviously, they weren't trying to kill me, but their client was. In fact, I think there were 6 or 7 multiple attempts where he tried to have me murdered. And I've got sworn statements to that effect. And the attorneys were protecting him. And the attorneys were making false allegations against me.
Sorry, Mr. O'Sullivan, but you see, to General Pahlane, you say you will do as I please, as I want, otherwise I will turn my attention to you. Is that not extortion?
No, I don't think that's what I said. I think I said what you need to do is take action. So what was happening at that time?
No, you said you fix Munu and Krecha and I will lose interest in you. If you don't, I will be all over you like a bag-fitting suit. So did you not then go out and manufacture all these allegations against Pahlane so that you could be the bag-fitting suit?
No, I didn't.
And you don't think this was extortion either?
No.
Okay. Because I'm gonna run out of time, I want to move to this final one. It was one of your emails also to General Pahlane. You said to them in an email as far back as 2016, and finally, I should mention that I have now formally notified the British and the US Secret Services that the leadership of SAPS is knowingly supporting Al-Qaeda by protecting Al-Qaeda money laundering in South Africa, as your systematic corruption-driven failures are a threat to the Western world. Enjoy your weekend, Munu, and don't any of you or your accomplices dream of taking unlawful action against me. You'll wake up in a nightmare. Now, you have been pains to tell us that you left intelligence services, but in this email, which was 5th February 2016, I think I've seen, does this not demonstrate that you still have ties with British intelligence services?
No, because in fact, you can go online now and you can file a report. You can go online and file a report, for example, with British. And by the way, a docket was opened against me for that. And I had to give an explanation as to who I notified. And I provided that explanation. And it was done online. So you can go online and you can send information like that.
Okay. And then your relationship with the US Secret Service?
It's an online portal.
Okay. So what then did you expect these foreign intelligence services to do with that information once you'd filed it online?
Well, in fact, I didn't expect them to do anything. What I expected General Pashlani to do was to take action against General Munu. That's what I expected to happen.
Do you find it proper, Mr. O'Sullivan, that you come into this country, you seek permanent residency, I'm not sure if ultimately citizenship, then instead of going, for example, to the South African State Security Agency when you have problems with the higher echelons of our police service, you think that the right thing to do is to report to foreign intelligence services?
So the report to those two intelligence services was in respect of the Al-Qaeda link.
Did
And
you
that-
report it to the South African State Security Agency?
The South African State Security Agency at that time was captured,
According to you?
I think, according to everybody.
Okay. My last question in these 3 minutes that I've got, you said, Mr. O'Sullivan, to Honorable Ola, you would not,
Sorry, to who?
Honorable Ola, sorry, the gentleman behind me.
Sorry, thank you.
You said to him that you would not recognize a grabber if you saw it. Would you recognize dismantled pieces of a grabber if you saw it?
No.
Okay.
I've never seen a grabber in my life.
So
I
the-
hear about them, but I've never seen one.
All right. So, I mean, there's allegations that are being made, and to some extent, I think some of them come from General Mkhwanazi, that on or around the 31st of January 2017, you attempted to secure, formally it's called a cell phone interception agent in the UK. You planned to have it disassembled in Liberia, and it would enter South Africa through various ports of entry in pieces, thereafter reassembled. Did you ever attempt to purchase a grabber, dismantle it in the UK and bring it into the country unlawfully?
Never in my life.
Okay,
Are you
so
saying, sorry, Chairman, are you saying that General Makwasi gave that evidence? Because
it's in piece and bits everywhere, including from the city of Johannesburg, where it is alleged that General Sibiya purchased a grabber, and this grabber would have come from you facilitating it through illegal smuggling in a
Absolutely.
dismantled fashion. Okay, I think maybe I could stop there. No, I've got one question in the minute. In one of your paragraphs, you said, paragraph 57, you contend that there is a third force. Sorry, I'm paraphrasing, but it's on paragraph 37. There's this third force that's working with all of these forces and their reach extends to the National Assembly. What did you mean by that?
Okay, so what we have a situation where, and I think it's common cause now, that there are certain, when I say this, the National Assembly, I'm talking about Parliament. And I think it's a fact of life that if we turn the clock back, the intelligence services were being managed by a Minister, David Mkhlobo. And while David Mkhlobo was the Minister of Intelligence, he was running a parallel intelligence organization.
Through Parliament?
But he's a member of Parliament, so his conduct reaches into Parliament.
Can
Now-
you give us any evidence of that? I mean, you're literally saying, you're casting aspersions on the National Assembly. So if there's a third force operating within the National Assembly, we'd like to know.
Okay, so I do believe I'm going to refer to an email that I sent on the 6th of June, 2018 to the National Prosecuting Authority. And because of my lack of trust for the intelligence service in this country, which I consider to be captured, And because of my lack of trust for the police service at that time, which I considered to be captured, I didn't know who to send it to. So I sent it to the Director of Public Prosecutions in Gauteng. And it's a sworn statement by an individual. And he sets out in detail. And by the way, I didn't invite him to come and tell me this. He approached me. He sets out in detail and he provides evidence with bank statements. And he lists the names of all the people that they were carrying out this unlawful surveillance on.
Thank you so much.
In the National Assembly. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. O'Sullivan. Thank you so much.
Who is the next speaker? Yeah, I saw that I ran into trouble with Honorable Souls for speaking too much on things that I did not know. So can you please guide me? Who is the next speaker?
It's me, Chair. I'm ready if.
Okay. Because I don't know what your arrangement is. I just fell into things I did not understand because Honorable Sanguni just came to me and said, no, we're okay. And then my assumption was that.
Chair, can I come in? Sorry, can I come in, Chair? Honorable Mwango and I, for all intents and purposes, we could have swapped spots. Ne? We didn't consult Honorable Souls, and for that we apologize. I think at the back of our minds, we thought that we would be swapping, so Honorable Souls will still have.
The person you must
his position.
apologize to is me.
And you too, benevolent, wise, all-seeing Chair, we apologize. Thank you.
Because I fell a victim. Honorable Souls,
Sorry, Chair, can I ask for?
let me apologize to you for calling your name without understanding that you were not the next speaker in line. I want to profusely apologize for that. I was under impression that the arrangement included you. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Chair, can I just ask for a short break? I need to use the washroom and I also need to stretch my legs a bit. Short, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, we were going to break after this speaker. So we will break now until past.
Thank you, Chair.
Is it fine with you?
Yes, thank you. Chair.
Until past. Is it 4:30 or 5:30? Yeah, 4:30. Can we stand up, members, and stretch our legs?